Hey guys, what's going on? Brofessor here, and today I'm back with another installment of the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars sets. Today we're going to be checking out the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars sets from the year 2004. Quick disclaimer before I get in. According to Brickista, this was another slow year for LEGO Star Wars, so there were actually only 5 completely new sets. The majority of the sets from this year were mini sets, and then there were also a couple that were re-released from 1999. So I didn't include any of the ones that were re-released from 1999 just because I felt like this technically wasn't the year it was actually released in. But I did include some of the mini sets because otherwise it would have just been a top 5 video. And I could have done that, but I did want to include the other 5 sets. But with that out of the way, I just want to remind, this is my opinion, obviously. So if you do disagree with me, that's okay. You don't have to agree with everything that I put on this list. This is just my personal opinion. But if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to go down, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you think the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars sets are in the year of 2004. But with that all out of the way, let's jump straight into number 10, where I put set number 6964. This is the mini Boba Fett's Slave 1. This year came with 25 pieces, but was actually not retailed like the majority of the other mini sets that were in poly bags. This one was a promotional item that could be found with a Japanese candy. I don't know if this was like the company or like the type of candy, but according to Brickista, it said like kabaya. So like I said, I don't know if that was the company or the type of candy, but this one and number 9 on this list were both available through that method. But I thought that this one looked decent. The majority of these mini sets, I kind of just picked based on personal preference, like looks. That's pretty much it. All I went off was like the way the set looked. This picture here is crinkled a little bit, obviously because it did come in a poly bag. It just wasn't retailed. So that's why this picture is a little crinkly, but it looks okay. I think the guns down at the bottom there look a little weird with those antenna pieces, and the like things on the side look a little weird. But other than that, I do think this is a pretty good set. Most of these mini sets I don't have a lot to talk about. So yeah, that's why this one's down here at number 10. At number 9, we put set number 6965, the TIE Interceptor. Like I said, this was another one of those kabaya promotional items. This one came with 32 pieces, however. I personally just like the look of this one better than the Boba Fett Slave one. I like how they did execute the curvature of the TIE Interceptor as well as the shape compared to a normal TIE fighter, which you can clearly differentiate this from. I think the cockpit is a little weird. Obviously, it's a super mini set, so they had limited pieces to use, but I do think that just using that one clear glass dome was an interesting choice. But other than that, I do think this is a very well executed mini TIE Interceptor, and that's why this one's down at number 9. So moving on to number 8 is set number 4493. This is the mini Sith Infiltrator. This one starts the mini sets that were released separately in poly bags at retail stores. This one retailed for $7, came with 55 pieces, and I think this is a pretty good rendition of like Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. I do think the front is a little flat, like it kind of curves up toward as you get to the back. But then right up there in the front, it is a little flat, and I think that's a little awkward. But other than that, I think this is really nice. I think they did a great job of executing the like wings there on the side. I also like the printed dome piece as opposed to some sort of sticker or anything else. I do like how they included that. So yeah, I do think this is a really nice mini set, and that's why this one's down at number 8. So moving on to number 7, I put set number 4494, the mini Imperial Shuttle. This one also sold for $7, came with 82 pieces, however, and I just think that this one looks a lot better than the Sith Infiltrator compared to the actual set itself. I think they did a really good job executing the wings. I like that front slope piece right there. I think that's a sticker, though. I do not know that that's printed, but I don't know for sure. I really like how they executed that fin there at the top. I like the trans yellow lights on the side. Those are nice. The only thing that I find weird is what they used for weaponry. Once again, they kind of used the antenna on the wings, and then I believe that those binoculars there are also supposed to be guns, which I always feel like those types of pieces look a little awkward like that. But it is what they decided to use for those. But other than that, like I said, I think that this looks almost exactly how a mini Imperial shuttle would, and that's why this one is at number 7. So moving on to number 5, I have put set number 4495. This is the mini ATTE. This one sold for $7, came with 63 pieces. This is the final mini set on the list, so I'll finally be getting into the actual sets here in a second. But I think that this one looks really nice. The only thing that I dislike about this one is the antenna guns. Otherwise, I think they did an amazing job getting the shape right. I really like how they executed the legs. Obviously, there's not as much mobility as a full-size ATTE, but with the limited amount of pieces that they decided to use, they did do a really good job executing that portion of it. Comes with quite a few stickers, which isn't something that I do typically like, but I think it does add some nice detail to a small set that otherwise would just look kind of bland. And then finally, I really like the trans green pieces that they used for the cockpit up there, as well as all of the flat tiles. And that's why this one is down at number 6. So moving on into the actual sets, at number 5, we have set number 4501, the Mos Eisley Cantina. This one sold for $30 and came with 193 pieces. Overall, I think they executed this one pretty well. I do believe that this is the first set that the dewback appears in, which is that large green Tatooine creature back there. I really like the addition of that. I also like how they included a land speeder. I feel like they probably could have just included that little scene down there in the bottom left and sold it for, I don't know, $15 or something. But they did decide to add a little bit more. However, even with all this, only the 193 pieces for $30, I do think that's a little overpriced, and I would have liked to see it at a lower price point. I think that's really one of the only turnoffs for me. The minifigure selection is pretty good. You have a Luke, an old Ben, Han Solo, Greedo, and then you even have a Sand Trooper. So, I mean, you're getting 5 minifigures in a relatively small set. And also the dewback mold is probably what really put this set over the top and required that $30 price tag. But other than that, I really do enjoy this set. Obviously, one of the more iconic ones with Mos Eisley Cantina, and then just like the Mos Eisley theme in general with the land speeder and the dewback and everything. And, I mean, that's pretty much it, and that's why I put this one at number 5. Moving on to number 4 is set number 4504, the Millennium Falcon. This one sold for $100, came with 985 pieces. So I actually forgot to look up how many minifigures this one included. Obviously, you can see 3 here in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. You can see the Han Solo and the Chewbacca, and then you also do get the Hoth Trooper down there in the bottom left, along with that gun that you do get included. So that was something that I do like. Overall, it's very clear in this picture here, if you do put this one side by side, the original Millennium Falcon, that there were many improvements made. Obviously, there's still a lot of studs exposed, but last time, the way they executed the top just looked awkward. It was almost like it was split into sections. This one definitely looks like a more complete ship, with more, like, divisions on it that allow the curvature to really show, as opposed to before where it almost looked like a square. It was just awkward. I like the little radio dish there on the side. They make it pretty movie accurate. Like I said, they have that radio dish, and they also have the gun on the top and the bottom, and some lights in the front. Obviously, the printed Millennium Falcon cockpit piece is also always a nice addition to see. And overall, this is a really nicely executed Millennium Falcon for the time, and that's why I put this one at number 4. So moving on to number 3 is set number 4502, the X-Wing Starfighter. This one sold for $50 with 563 pieces. This is another set that includes a pretty good slew of minifigures, as well as a different kind of X-Wing. Obviously, you can see there it kind of has like the seaweed kind of stuff hanging on it from Dagobah. And I also liked how they included Yoda's Hutt in this one. So there really is a lot going on. Obviously, this X-Wing is pretty much just like a regular standard X-Wing. Hadn't gotten one, in a little while. So I do like to see this. The nice printed cockpit piece is always nice to see, and it is very much updated in terms of just like the overall design. It looks a lot sleeker, and I do like that. You do get Dagobah Luke, which I believe this is the first set he appears in. You get a nice Yoda minifigure, and then you also get R2-D2. Like I said, I really like the addition of Yoda's Hutt. This could have been, I don't know, maybe like a $40 X-Wing on its own, but I really like how they decided to incorporate Yoda's Hutt and kind of like set the scene on Dagobah. It really adds a little bit to this set, and that's why I put this one at number 3. So moving on to the top 2, number 2, I have set number 10134, the UCS Y-Wing Attack Starfighter. This one sold for $120 with 1,473 pieces. So this is actually a really good price per piece. So if that's something that you would have liked, then this is definitely a set that you would have probably wanted to pick up at the time. But this is a really nicely detailed set. In the thumbnail, I kind of show off a picture with it on its stand. I really like the way it looks overall, and I think this is a very accurate set. Early on in Star Wars, the UCS sets were a little rough, but they definitely begin to pick up very fast and improve greatly with the different additions of new slope pieces and just being able to make the models look a lot cleaner. And I think that it is very evident with that in this model. You can very clearly see all the different like slope pieces and all the different design details that they decided to include in this one, as well as a astromech droid that you get included with this one. And overall, this is just an amazing UCS set, and the only one of this year. And as you can see, also I forgot to mention, this box art that it came on is kind of the precursor of what the 20th anniversary box art looks like this year. The only real difference is this one has like the one strip going from the S, whereas this new box art from this year actually has 2, but it has that same kind of like silver lining around it, which is something that I really like, the throwback box art that they decided to include for the 20th anniversary this year. But that's why I put this one down at number 2. So moving on to the top set from the year 2004, in my opinion, this was a super obvious one. I put set number 10131, the TIE Fighter Collection. This one sold for $70, and you get 682 pieces, and I believe 3 TIE Fighter pilots and Darth Vader. You definitely get Darth Vader and a couple TIE Fighter pilots. I'm just not entirely sure how many. But if you think about the fact that either in 2002 or 2001, I'm not entirely sure what year, it was 2001, you can get a TIE Fighter on its own for $20, and then they come out with this set 3 years later, where you get 4 different kinds of TIE Fighters for just $70. Now, obviously, the price per piece is not 10 cents per piece, but I think you're definitely getting amazing value at the time. This is a set that today can go for a lot sealed, even used. You can get a ton of money for this set. I think they executed this perfectly. Honestly, my only gripe with this set is I wish they would have included either a TIE Bomber or a TIE Interceptor instead of 2 TIE Fighters. But this is just an amazing set. You get Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, 2 TIE Fighters, and then I think that one up there is actually called a Droid TIE. I do not believe it appeared in any movies. It may be from the expanded universe. I'm not entirely sure. But overall, this is just an amazing set. Obviously, the TIE Fighters still have that blue and black color scheme, which I guess is technically another thing that I don't like. But like I keep saying, it eventually gets corrected, and I don't know why they started it like this, but they did. Maybe they just didn't have the right colors at the time. But overall, I think that this is just an amazing set. I don't actually think this counts as a UCS set, even though it kind of has that like higher numbered set number. But I do not think that this is a UCS set. But it definitely provides a lot of amazing ships and minifigures that you get in it for just $70. And that's why I put this one up there at number 1. And guys, that'll be all for this video. That's going to wrap this one up. If you did enjoy this top 10, don't forget to go down, smash that like button. If you do enjoy this sort of content, don't forget to potentially hit subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And let me know what you guys think about my set choices down below in the description. And I will see you guys next time. Peace!